Hello everyone, welcome back to Ankita Chess. Today I'll be discussing an awesome trap called the Halosar Trap. The Halosar Trap derives from the Blackmar Diemer Gambit and Ryder Gambit. The main point of this trap is that white gives two pawns in hope that black will fall into the trap. Not only is this opening trap so deadly, but it's also one of the most played opening traps in the common opening, the Blackmar Diemer Gambit. You either as white win the game by checkmate, or you win your opponent's queen, or you land yourself in a very nice position which you can later win as for black's poorly placed pieces. And if you're a very attacking player, then wait until knight b5 comes, because I'll be talking about all the different variations that can happen next and for white to win to black. Let's get started. The Halosar Trap begins with d4, black continues with d5, and here we play e4, transitioning into the Blackmar Gambit. After this, black will take on e4, and this is the accepted variation. After d takes e4, we have knight to c3, and then knight to f6 protecting the e4 pawn. And here we play f3. E takes f3, and here we have two options. We can take with the queen or we can take with the knight. Personally, I would take with the knight because, it develops a piece, it can later bring out the bishops, you can then queenside castle. But in this position, we are actually going to be taking with the queen. And the reason for this is that it's all in the trap. We're purposely allowing black to take this hanged pawn on d4. So after queen takes d4, we're going to play bishop to e3, attacking the queen. The queen has many options at this point. The queen can go back to d8, the queen can go to d7, the queen can go to d6, the queen can go to e5, the queen can go to g4. So many options, but the most common option and the most played option here is queen to b4. Queen to b4 not only pins the knight and the king, but it also attacks the b2 pawn that is undefended at the moment. And here, as a white, we're going to play queenside castle. Not only did we stop that pin from happening, but we also protected the b2 pawn that was attacked. But this move actually allows black to play bishop to g4. But don't worry, this is all part of what we want black to play. After this, we're going to play knight to b5, and this is probably the best move in the whole entire game. After this, if black doesn't look carefully and if black immediately takes on f3, the game is over for black. Because after knight takes c7, this is check and mate. The king cannot go on d8 nor d7 because of the rook dominating that d file. So it's a checkmate. Let's just say black knows what white's going for and instead plays e6 instead, probably escaping to the e7 pawn when knight takes c7. So after when we take knight takes c7, here the black king will play king to e7. And here it's no different because we're going to play an amazing tactical move here, which is queen takes b7. Here we're sacrificing our queen in order to have a checkmate. So here, if black doesn't know what white's going for, black will simply capture the queen back, winning a complete queen, but it's over right now for black as we have bishop to c5, check and mate. The bishop controls and checks the king here. The black rook completely takes over these three squares, and lastly, the knight prevents the king from moving to e8. It's a beautiful checkmate just using the power of these three pieces, and just dominates this whole board. I really love this checkmate. Okay, now let's see another option for black. So instead of playing e6 in this position, a very common move is knight to a6. Knight to a6 is played here actually to stop, or not necessarily stop, but it demotivates white from taking on c7. So here we're going to go ahead actually with the queen takes b7. queen takes b7 attacks the rook on a8 and also double attacks on the knight on a6. At the same time, it's attacking a few of these pawns, and the biggest of all comes in the next move. After black continues with some random g6 move, we have a beautiful bishop takes c7 check. And as we established earlier, that the idea with the rook and knight mate, but after black's only move, which is knight takes c7, we simply can grab the queen that's undefended. And we're up a queen and we'll easily win this game from now on. Now let's see what happens if black plays another move. Over here. Okay, so after queen takes b7, black, instead of playing the g6 move, which was very random that I picked over here, many people will not play g6, but will play other moves. So let's just go through one of the most common ones, which is rook to b8. Rook to b8, this looks like as if it's a really took attacking. It's attacking the queen, and after the queen moves somewhere, it can capture the knight, and it's also, putting some pressure on this b2 pawn. But actually, simply, we can just take on the rook. After knight takes, we have this beautiful, again, check and mate, knight takes c7, and with the teamwork of the knight and the rook, we have checkmated the king once again. Over here, instead of the rook moving to b8, there's an option to playing to c8, protecting the c7 pawn further. Over here, we're going to capture the undefended knight on a6, and here black's going to take on d1. And if black takes on d1, we can simply capture the rook that now is undefended on c8, and this is actually check and mate. So it would be a horrible mistake actually here for bishop takes d1 because it undefends this rook later. Let's see if there's any other traps. So what happens if we have bishop takes d1 in this case? Instead of moving our rooks, what happens if we have bishop takes d1 our rook? Here we're going to simply capture black's rook. And here, the only possible move for black is king to d7. And here we're such in a pleasant position as the bishop is hanging, and also well, actually not right now. Yeah, the bishop is currently hanging over here. And as white, we're just going to play knight takes a7. Knight takes a7 just wins a pawn. And now, as you can see, we are attacking the d1 bishop, and at the same time, the knight is being attacked on a6. So we will eventually win one of these pieces. And here it's completely winning for black. We can later develop and put our kingside pieces into action, like moving our knight to f3, then to e5, bringing maybe our bishop to b5 check, putting our queen to c8. We have so many options, and taking our rook to d8, controlling the d file. So many options here, and it's going to be a very easy win for white in this position. Okay, now let's see what happens if black plays instead. After queen takes b7, black plays queen to e4. Now, queen to e4 is one of actually the best moves for black to play in this position, and the reason why the queen to e4 is really good is because it's aligned on the diagonal, and it puts pressure on some of our pieces. So it's aligned, so the queen can't take. If we take, then black queen just takes, and they're winning. So, and at the same time, this black queen is attacking our bishop, and the black's bishop is also attacking our rook. But here, no problem. We're simply going to take on the undefended knight on a6. And here, black is going to take on our free rook here, and we're simply going to take back. And here the most common move is rook to d8 check. And here we're going to take our hanging piece and retreat it back to d2. And here it's again wonderful for us. after some move like queen to d5, probably threatening this capture on d2, we can simply play this move, attacking the king and forking the queen at the same time. And if any other move is played, we can simply, again, take out our bishops, play bishop to d3, future attacking the queen. We have this other, weak pawn here that we're looking forward to capture. So it's, again, very good for white in this position. Now let's see what else we have. So instead of taking on the rook in the starting, let's see what happens if black takes on the bishop first. So queen takes e3 instead of bishop takes d1. This is actually a pretty good move for black. Here, after this move, we're simply going to play king to b1, getting away from the check as it was check. And here, as we are threatening to take this piece, it's forced for the king to come back to c5, protecting. And over here, we're going to play queen to b7. As you can see, queen to b7 is attacking this rook here. But after bishop takes d1, queen takes a8, and the only move, king to d7, we're doing pretty good as white here. And also, just letting you know, white cannot take on a7 because of the queen mate that we have going on in c2. So knight takes a7 will be blunder, as queen takes c2, king a1, and then queen c1 check and mate. So that wouldn't be the best. So it's really forced to play knight to c3 here. And here again, though black is up a pawn in this position, we can still understand that our position is, very good. And our position, we can, bring out our bishop, we can take out our knights, and we have a lot more pieces to develop than black. Black has this bishop that, it's not even moving right now, and its pawns are simply going to go away soon, and its king out is in the open. And we would only reach to this position if black plays perfectly, which is very rare in an opening like this. So, yeah. But otherwise, I think this was an amazing opening to show you guys. I really enjoyed teaching this, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video.